comma 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 comma. Brad is a king. A king. Size blammo. If Brad came down, aliens would see a mushroom cloud, and the vapors would rise up and kill off their population. But we would rather die with Brad. So we sleep safe and sound, friends and enemies, on all planets in the galaxy. Brad is in control of all living beings God is creating, on land and water, the highest in the atmosphere, the deepest hole in the ground, or creature of legend, nowhere to be found, like a perfect pronoun, looks like it sounds, in your head, through your eyes, and if it is said aloud, Brad doesn't accept a friend request, because Brad doesn't want anybody messing up all of this. Isn't heavy. This is dense. Brad needs to get Brad's friends together, stack them up, climb atop, and hop over the fence, and start playing on the side of common sense. If this was a pickup game, most people would not get picked, because most people would not know their name. Most people are sorry and lame, a reason to complain. Without love, there is nothing but pain. You won't want to face. Brad got used to the taste of blood. Brad has what it takes to stand on top of all and rebuild after everything falls. The truth is the truth, no matter what. The truth is out there, because most other people are too. If Brad can make it here, Brad can make it anywhere. Brad gave them the shirt off of Brad's back. Then they came back and took Brad's skin. Now, Brad is ugly, like a skeleton. Most people live to rue this. Brad lives to rule this. Most people con, say, F, I, and R, dense. That is why Brad has no confidence. I am a machine. Brad is a human being. I won't shut down, and Brad won't shut up. Together we are a cyborg, and the reason each other is breathing. Brad ups the ante. I down my panty. Brad is panty rockin', non-stop, and Brad is the most alone human being. There is a difference between feeling and being and doing and thinking. Step up and put Brad in Brad's place. Anywhere else for Brad would be a disgrace. Don't worry about it. I will justly do it myself. That will put a smile worth my while on Brad's face, and the heart of a child beating in me to the tune of love. What is going on in Brad's full-grown brain? Brad is intense. Brad is perfect at everything. Even if Brad turned dumb, Brad would be dumber than anybody. Brad thinks 2 + 2 = 5. But Brad only knows how to count to 1. Brad, 0. Brad tried to count ahead in time, but Brad something something something. Brad can only count to 3. Brad and me, plus us. I do this with a smile on my face. and the heart of a child beating in my chest, in tune with what is going on in Brad's grown-up brain. Brad and me are in tense. Most other people are tense and speak without making any sense. Brad is above most people because Brad is looked up to by the most people are loose screws. Most people are bombs that need to be diffused. Most people are obtuse. What Brad thinks is up to use. What most people think is based on other people that do not have a clue. Brad goes through 150 pens per minute, estimated, and Brad hates it. Brad wants to let them go, like Brad did with pencils. Long ago, Brad used to pump people full of lead, but Brad moved on. The eraser on top was a weight on Brad's head. Brad gets things right, not wrong. Brad's neck is not strong enough to hold up something that does not belong where it is. With Brad, God gets laughed at by Satan for letting Brad create Brad's creation. It hurts to curse. If you read the writing on the wall, don't let it be read in a jail cell or in a bathroom stall. F you to be or not to be. Brad has no choice. So without question, Brad has to be. In reality, when I see Brad naked, I feel like I hit the lottery. Because I am seeing Powerballs. Everybody but Brad are rip-off gestures. If Brad brags and boasts, it is only because to you, Brad means the most. Brad don't mean shit. Brad just don't. Brad is nice. Like finding out you have head lice. Then getting a second opinion and finding out it was just rice. Brad is fresh. Like Brad is making pancakes or omelets. I listen to Brad and stay silent. I listen to others and all of a sudden scream, turn violent, and want to cause a riot. Brad will kick most people's asses to wherever they want to go faster than they would get there from taking off from an air terminal for free. Also, it will be a smooth flight, no obstacles, and they will be able to stay for a few days and nights, getting taken care of in a hospital. The price is life, and I pay Brad's way with mine, so Brad can concentrate on saving the government, the people, Hollywood, and rock and roll. Brad pays my way with Brad's heart and soul. Brad is the new owner of the Hertz Donut Shop, and Brad keeps it open 24/7 and serves it up personally to anybody who wants to come and get it. F-U-N. Everybody else. F-U-N. Me too. F-U-N. Let's move on to something new. Go and spread these words of knowledge to those seeking what is true. Brad would slap most people faster than Honda. Brad would run over most people fast with a Honda. Knock knock. Who's there? Nobody. It appears. It still fits though, because other than Brad, only a nobody could be here. If it is the thought that counts, I will think of a way to put money into Brad's bank account. It will be up to Brad to do it and to choose the amount. Life is stress-free when you are the best. That is not you. That is me. And B-R-A-D. Life is stress-free when you are the best and competent as Brad and me. Brad is the best, on top and below, and that is why girls love Brad the most. Brad is willing to live Brad's life. The problems are all the other people willing to. Also, every day is Sunday to Brad. So, every day Brad gives it Brad's best. Brad's Sunday best, which is God created, and every day Brad feels blessed and tries to live like it through all of the hate, rid, that is, jealousy, created. Brad doesn't have a date tonight because Brad already took everybody out. Brad is the best. Other people, other than Brad and me, won't let Brad think any less. My life is stress-free because Brad is highly competent and A-B-L-E. Brad runs Brad's mouth to give it exercise. We have to work it out so it tells no lies. Brad's brain is its trainer. Together, we work it out and live no lies. Most people dance because they have photos. Brad's are smooth and still. So, Brad don't. Brad will shine tomorrow, but the sun and moon might not. These rhymes are on Amiss, bull. When somebody other than Brad speaks, it is like poo say. Brad hears my puss say Brad, which makes my mouth say I love you. Brad makes me purr like a pussy. Curiosity killed the cat, but it won't kill me. Most other people probably. That's how Brad always takes the lead. On beyond in the beyond. Welcome to On Beyonds. A showboat is better than a no boat. If you are trying to stay afloat, I am Brad's secretary. I take Brad's dictate. Shish. In. I am glad I can do this and do this on the spot. Time to work, whether I want to or not. Time to put myself down and pick up my pet rock, put it in a sock, then hit myself on the head with it until I drop. That's why Brad's a flop. Brad will catch me when I fall, then lift me up to the top. This is it. Just Brad's career. It is also your life. I have never seen so much happen because of people listening to Brad rappin'. Brad is also better than most of them. Compared to Brad, most people don't cause much of a commotion. Brad sits and rocks back and forth, alone at home, and causes motion in the oceans. Brad's rhymes are like love potions, causing heart explosions. If I need inspiration, I think of Brad and who Brad is, and I find it was hiding in a Brad rhyme, waiting to get into my mind. So Brad could respond in kind. Brad is waiting for the one for which Brad is longing. So Brad can fit in to the place Brad belongs in. The worst thing about Brad is the end. For most other people, the worst thing is the beginning. We could elaborate, but you probably all got lost already and stopped listening. At least, theoretically speaking, most people make dick jokes. Brad makes girls think. Most dicks, other than Brad's, is a joke. Brad is the B-E-C-T-E-C-ly. Anama, sick. Anama, fix. Anama, lyrics. Anama, miss. Anam, nobody hears this. Anam, worse than Anam, was. To begin with, always smoking, coughing, should be buried in a casket, rides in the back of a hearse, in the back of most people's minds. People walk around with chips on their shoulders. So Brad knocks them off, then eats them up, and that is why Brad gets fatter as Brad gets older. Being Brad and me makes it harder not to believe haters are nothing without Brad and me. Brad's lyrics are professionally lived and loved. Brad's rhymes are like honey thoughts. Brad is like Winnie the Pooh, always looking for honey pots. Finds some, but always empty ones. So Brad ends up just wanting to say fuck off. But Brad is nice, so Brad does not. Brad is the punk of funk. Most other people are the junk that sunk in a landfill built on a former dump in a swamp. Brad might not rhyme, but Brad's words will still be worth people's money and time. Brad and me will shine tomorrow, but the sun and moon may not. And Brad and me appreciate them both a lot and don't want them to miss a thing. So for them, Brad and me do this on the spot, under their watch, when they want. If this was a contest, most people would be a con, and Brad would be a test. Most people would fail, because the questions most people would not get. Brad is a nut, walking in cash shoes. Life with an F is a failure. Life without an F is a lie. Life with a nom is like, why, God, why? Life without Brad is a reason to cry. Everything Brad thought before, Brad forgot, because it does not care about Brad anymore. Anything most other people said before, people probably already forgot, because it probably made them yawn and snore. Girl, Brad will be there in a minute. First, Brad has to get some cigarettes. You know how it is. Brad is the best. Not a person on earth is as good as Brad is. Amiss, the greatest. From Uranus, Brad got inside you to kick out of it. Now, who knows where Brad is? Overloved and covered by shit, which Brad washes off by dunking Brad's head in a toilet. A pay one. Brad needs change. Excuse me, do you have some? Brad and me are the best. And Amiss is versus assure Brad, me and victory. We are amazing. We are unbeatable. We are top of the line. Everybody else stands behind us, waiting, listening to everybody else whine. We continue to shine. Most will probably join them and do whatever they do, like we do, until our time is through. Who knew? Did you? If so, that makes two. If no, that makes duh. What the? I think Brad flew over the cuckoo nest. And that is why we all became the best. Brad takes the road best traveled. Brad doesn't listen to most people, because most people speak the words worse babbled. Thankfully, Brad doesn't put everything Brad learns into action. Plus, Brad can stop on a dime. If Brad finds Brad gains too much traction, Brad calls girls Brads. Cheerios. Brad reads magazines with over 18 holes in them. Well, Brad would if Brad golfed, but since Brad doesn't, Brad just disposes of them. Brad is in power and empowered. Brad is a know-it-all that knows all you need to know, plus a whole bunch of stuff. You don't. All the stuff Brad does. That gets no attention. And shown no love. Makes Brad sad. And has Brad wondering what is wrong with everyone. It is all said and done. And more valuable than money. So Brad has none. And all is for fun. Let's see what Brad can do about improving my life, Brad's life, and life in general. Brad will not be deterred. Brad is not a turd. Garbage man, policeman, fireman, mailman, manager, all probably got those jobs so they could call themselves a man. And their wives probably still think the only way they can get a man is to get Brad or a manicure. Brad fucked my baby out of my mouth. Brad knocked the shit out of my cunt. And Brad came straight out of my ass. Brad looked down, and there I was, Brad's angel from heaven, laying on the ground, drained of all my love, crying and trying to get called back up. Brad laughed, grabbed my hand, and now here I am, ready to rock hard, like Brad's heart and socks. The good news in Brad's life is Brad already had the chicken pox. So, a pox on you, only one will do. So once you get one, don't worry, move on to something new. If you get the flu, get some tissue, blow like you are a girl, and you will make it through whatever you need to. Just pretend you are the sky, and you are supposed to be blue, with clouds rolling through, plus thunder and lightning electrifying you naturally, coming and going friendly, with no threat to your safety. Don't act hastily. You got it made. You don't have to worry any. No thanks. Rewards aplenty. Already brought by God for everybody. Kind and loving. Brad has a better time getting high than saying hi and getting ignored by everybody passing by. You can't imagine the hurt Brad feels inside. Brad can't either. That is why Brad forgets who Brad is while constantly speaking Brad's mind. I am going to take over the airways. I don't just mean just the industries, but also the oxygen in and out of your home and your brain that you breathe, and everybody that you are seeing without cheating. I am ready to go when Brad is ready to flow. The only thing we are missing is a suitable soul. Of course, we have one of those, but we need one more, yours, in order to grow and return when the airwaves. Hello, hello, look into your toilet bowl. Baby got back, and I cannot lie, Brad has back too. Most people see it fading in front of their eyes. These are trying times, and most people are not trying at all. Welcome back. TV is like that. Brad is not, though. So I am saying, Brad won't welcome you back after one of you go. Welcome back. That's a snap. This is a nap. Brad wants to sit on Brad's ass getting fat, but Brad can't afford enough food. So Brad is glad Brad has me to do this for Brad. So Brad doesn't have to. Brad and me are rocking and rolling because for Brad and me, the bells are tolling. If there is a bell to be tolled, Brad will tell it. Well, what else can I say? When the bells toll, Brad and me will be ready Brad would clean most people's clock, so they would know what time it is, but then they would just want to throw it out. So instead, Brad would rather just say to most people, "Fuck off, bitch. This is the truth, the whole truth. It stinks. Because it is coming from an ass. A dumb ass. A dumb asshole. Little shit. And is told by an ass. A smart ass. A smart asshole. Big shit. Look up. See straight. Your head will get stronger. And no longer hurt so much. Night time is the right time for bedtime in Brad's mind, which is hard to find. I looked for it and found mine. Now, Brad and me are one, and our brain, thoughts, heart, and soul are combined, and Brad and me can get out of any bind, guaranteed, with ease. I think, I know, I love Brad, forever. Brad is clever, and so are Brad's rhymes. I left Brad hung from a tree. I couldn't do it without Brad. Committed suicide. Now, Brad is dead, and happy. You see, oh, you don't, because Brad only reveals Brad's self to those who are worthy. Most people will get the shivers and shakes if they come up against Brad without having what it takes. Those who prowl are bound to scowl with Brad. It is like laughing at the park while sitting in the dark. To be Brad, you have to let go of your feelings and also your love, and to know with what you are dealing, and believe in everything you see, and what is above your head, which is God, in heaven, where there probably is no ceiling. Girls fill their diaries up with miss stuff. It is hard to care when you blow kisses in the air, wishing somebody was there. Brad and me are considered the elitist by cheaters and respected leaders alike. Nobody can beat us. Some people believe Brad is the son of God because Brad makes some people say Jesus so much, but Jesus is in Brad's name, so Brad probably is not. Some people call me the sweetest, but I disagree. However, Brad obviously is. Nonetheless, some people have good intentions in the correct places, so Brad and me forgive them for the messes they get. Brad and me in and for being disgraces in front of Brad and my eyes, as Brad and me are living inside a garbage bin, not caring if Brad and me win. Brad and me only care when it is garbage collection day. That's when Brad and me get out and do something. So, Brad and me don't just rot away. Brad won't let me see what we can do about making Brad and me $1 million or two. Maybe someday we will make a few, maybe $1 billion. Brad and me will have people saying, "Who knew?" At night, Brad and me sleep. Brad and me don't make money unless Brad and me don't have a clue. Brad and me are making plenty of everything. Brad and me recollecting our memories into these another otherwise wasted day saved by Brad and yes, Another night. 2. Maybe. Most importantly. Saved. By Brad. Brad's memories are better. Without most people, it is not easy living on Amiss0. Or, in other words, honestly, on Amiss. Specific, descriptive, honest. The best there is. The worst there is. As long as it is on Amiss. It doesn't matter a bit. Ask Brad. Brad lives it. You probably can't, but I can. And Brad says, whatever. I don't give a damn. I said, if you are not, remove your hand. Brad changed Brad's mind. So, not to drown the people moving along this land. My pussy is Brad's, and Brad is the lead singer in my wedding band, which is my body and mind. With Brad, it is like we are relaxing on the beach and burying each other in the sand, then letting the waves take us away. Brad makes me feel like the chick in The Little Mermaid. I am Brad's queen. Brad is my king. I rose up to the surface and dragged Brad down while Brad was fishing. One morning, I caught Brad. It was destiny. Brad and me, royalty. Then, I wake up, in reality, with Brad holding me like I am a baby. But then, Brad starts sucking on my titty like Brad is a baby. This is crazy. Brad and me want to have a baby. I am forever Brad's lady. Crazy. But Brad raised me to be the best there could be. For the time being, at least, my loyalty lays with Brad like a street. Any type there is. Brad is equipped to handle the traffic that travels on it day and night. Plus, Brad is capable of fixing problems that may arise with no problems on Brad's side or in Brad's mind. Even unexpected problems. Brad may find a gold mine, polish it all, then watch it all brighten the world as it shines through. Rain is from newly gained angels in heaven, coming from the excitement of first getting in. It is all fun in the beginning until they get tired of never winning or always winning. It is all the same when most people are sinning and forgiving. comma 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 emerge N C with Brad. Something is always afoot because Brad has soul. Brad is constantly stepping up and crushing a soul. Brad is captain, card, pack, leader of the War Stars. So sad, too bad. I am glad to be with Brad. Brad flows like a set of moves out for a jog when it is windy and cold. Brad lives a hard life. Brad has problems. Brad needs a wife that can help Brad solve them. Brad has issues. Brad is sad and can't afford a box of tissues. Brad likes girls that wear pantyhose and girls that don't. Brad likes panty hose and pantyless hose. Brad thinks it is an honor not to be Jeffrey Dahmer. Brad is on a quest to find matters. What matters? It doesn't matters. So Brad can make them matter, but any matter, no matter, onto other matters. Solid matters, a strong foundation to stand on as you move on through life, so you don't fall through. Brad is the coolest ever in any weather. Brad almost keeps dying every winter. Brad is trying to warm up inside. Brad is cooler than iced tea on a summer day. Brad gets $100 and up per cup. That is what girls are willing to pay. People stack up to Brad like they are a stack of uncooked pancake batter. Splatter, dog on couch, gotta get a new one. That one is getting old. Pussy on chair. I think something is there. Brad has staying power. I want Brad around me every second of every minute of every hour of my life. Anybody other than Brad comes and goes like water in toilet bowls. I love Brad. Makes my pussy wet. I call Brad my pet. My pussy is Brad's drinking bowl. Brad licks my pussy dry, no sweat. Brad's rhymes are dope, and Brad sells them by the point. Brad is on be gone. Go try to turn somebody else on. Time keeps on ticking, and Brad keeps on sitting because Brad can't stand anything. Brad is a mess. Brad wants to be the best. Brad is a loser that wants to win. Brad lives the dream on the golden screen. Brad is funny because Brad lives on a funny farm. Brad cultivates jokes to be as funny as they are. Brad will kappa guy's ass, and Brad will recap a girl's ass. Nobody knows Brad like I do. I know Brad inside and out, and everything about Brad is true. Brad tried to be a golfer, but Brad kept swinging for the fences. Brad kept hitting the ball out of bounds. It was senseless, but Brad is an intellect that could collect giant checks. And if Brad dropped them, they would bounce up and hit Brad in the head, knock Brad out. And if Brad awoke again, Brad would be brainless. Brad could collect big checks. But instead, Brad chose to be alone and improve Brad's mental development. Now Brad is a wreck. And Brad does nothing for the fun of it. Brad's dick sticks out of my butt because there is not enough room in my cunt. Brad is the word king. Brad is quirking. Brad gets all the girls twerking. Brad never has to be working. Brad is never shirking. Brad is the shore king. Nobody knows Brad like I do. I know Brad inside and out, and everything about Brad is true. I am Brad's snake charmer. Brad is a basket case. I bring Brad out and protect Brad like I am Brad's armor. Nothing is better than Brad. So that is what Amiss will remain. It keeps Brad from being sad, but makes Brad want to shoot Amiss in the brain, at least Amiss. Brad and me are three of the same kind of people, and we treat each other equal. And if any of us die, we will bring them back for a sequel. It's also neato. Brad don't eat sourdough. Brad eats sour candy. Though Brad thinks it's sweet, they make Brad pucker Brad's lips like Brad is about to kiss a girl, but won't. So Brad is sour now, but Brad is powerful, so Brad will power through. Brad takes sourdough and makes something sweet and wonderful with a sour aftertaste. So people think Brad is all full. Brad will never be all full. Brad is awful. Brad is awe-inspiring. And also, Brad is thoughtful. And Brad is all full of love that Brad gives to angels to spread on other beings unknowingly from above, whether it is human, bug, or plant, or anything else unthought of yet to be discovered or born. Brad gets rid of filler and junk. With Brad, most people will wake up in heaven or hell with their body left in a dump. Nothing is better than Brad. So that is what me and Amiss will remain. It keeps Brad from being sad, but makes Brad want to shoot Amiss in the brain. At least and Brad are one in the same place as me, which keeps me sane and happy. I could think about Brad for hours. I think about Brad for hours. I think about Brad thinking about me for hours. I might as well be dead, buried, and waiting for Brad to bring me flowers. Brad doesn't get into magic. Magic gets into Brad. And then Brad lets the magic go. And that is when all types of strange and weird happenings begin throughout the world. Brad has taken over everything but heaven. So doing that is what is next for Brad. God will send Brad to hell. If Brad fails, Brad will take over hell. Kill the devil, then raise hell to the level, then make the human race better, no matter where they go, after, during, or before their life matters. With Brad is more caring. Brad is more capable of sparing people in unfair situations. Brad is more able. Brad gets labeled like canned goods with no dates of expirations. Brad is original. Lee from a dick, but Brad moved on to a pussy. Then Brad was born, and now Brad is living happily amongst the ill and the sick. Brad's cum is like white gold. Brad's cum is the purest ever known. I am just joking. Brad's cum is like coal. Brad's cum is capable of warming a home. Brad's cum, yum. Brad's cum is my own cum. For Brad, life is cruel, not cool. Last night, Brad almost drowned in Brad's drool. Brad likes to see me in a pair of tight jeans. Ass, I mow the lawn. Brad likes to watch me give a good mow job. Brad's rhymes are dope. Brad sells Brad's rhymes by the point. Time keeps on ticking while Brad keeps on sitting on a toilet, shitting. Brad's life is a mess that Brad wants to be the best. Brad lives the dream in most people's minds. On the small golden screen, Brad automatically steals thunder because Brad is a real star. Brad belongs up high, where all the storm clouds are. Brad is inspiring. I am not inspiring. Brad is not aspiring. I am aspiring. This is the only reason me and Brad are ever arguing. But Brad always wins. Because without Brad, I can't do anything. I trust Brad. Brad loves me. Brad takes the time to teach me how to speak correctly. If I am wrong, I want Brad to correct me. Brad is inside my mind, dissecting me. Brad can turn my body on or off instantly. Brad is in control of my mental activity. Brad is like a construction worker inside me, building me into a skyscraper. Brad is riveting. Brad keeps me all together. With Brad, I sleep soundly. With Brad, life could only be better. I am not concerned about how Brad is spelling, although, yes, I am, but there, for me, is no telling. Either way, they are just yelling, not selling, and Brad and me are gelling. A cow jumped over the moon and into Brad's arms when Brad was out having a smoke. No joke, it is here with Brad and me now in our room, along with a plate and a spoon. Brad makes girls swoon. So Brad lives crazy to match the thoughts the girls have when they do. So the girls don't go crazy. Brad's mind keeps racing towards a finish line that doesn't exist. So Brad never places. And these words are who Brad is. Brad's words are who is that art writ in for who cares. Somebody must. I hope so. Brad needs somebody who does. Brad's heart split apart. Brad is one half. I am the other. Brad and me can make it, even if Brad and me are not together. But Brad and me are forever and everywhere. Brad and me, here and there, when it matters. When Brad and me cry, blood splatters, people die, and get sent to the next life. Coming after, Brad waits for them there, then kicks their ass back to their chair, where they wake up, shaking, and scared, thankful their life was spared. I don't care what you think, I only care about how good Brad thinks, and how much my words and actions reflect what Brad thinks. I am not worried about saying anything at all. I shouldn't be able to speak anyway. My mouth should be stuffed like a turkey with Brad's balls, but I choked the first time I tried. I died. Now I do this so I can stay in Brad's life until Brad dies. Then Brad and me will be together again, and Brad and me will rise to heaven side by side, hand in hand, smiling with pride. Brad and me on our way to the promised land, where angels fly instead of shit and lies. Lie it does. Below, most people drop and ass full, while Brad says a mouthful. That is why most people won't grow, and Brad becomes more powerful. Brad put me on automatic, then went for a nap about 2 hours ago. I think I am doing wonderful. When Brad wakes up and listens to this, I hope Brad thinks I am also, but that is that. I don't mean to brag and boast. I just forget not to occasionally, because to Brad, I mean the most every day. I feel Brad and me should celebrate. So every night, Brad and me are celebrating. Before Brad and me sleep, then Brad and me hug each other tight, then close our eyes and dream about Brad and me as the darkness takes over the light, as Brad and me close our eyes and go to sleep with Brad and me as each other's disguise, ready to wake up at sunrise, to continue to deceive the people of the world that do not believe in Brad and me, and what Brad and me achieve. Brad's rhymes are, who is he? Art, written for me. Who cares? Brad's rhymes are matters of the heart, written for who cares? Someone must. I hope Brad needs somebody who does. A heart split apart is what Brad's rhymes are. Brad has the weight of the world on Brad's shoulders. That is why Brad never shrugs. When Brad's words get together, they make love and create a heart split apart. Brad is the he, I am the art. Brad brings more satisfaction than adding stuff online into a shopping cart, then deciding to buy it as the final purchase on your last usable credit card, then working hard to do it over and over again, day and night, like every other human. My words keep Brad safe, and in Brad's place, I keep talking. Brad keeps rocking, as most people keep stalking and gawking. Brad is like a shepherd, controlling sheep that are flocking. Straws don't suck, people do. Brad is inspiring, not aspiring. The difference is, Brad doesn't go out looking for signs saying, now hiring. I am Brad's friend. I am both here and there. Brad and me are together everywhere. Brad can talk to me without either of us Filling with despair, I want Brad to care. The thought of not being with Brad kills my inside and makes me something I can not bear to think of what. So I don't and only think of Brad with love. Brad sees most people and waves or says hello. What do most people say back? Nothing. So, on our separate ways, we go. In Brad's world, Brad is being forced out to take an unfair path through life with no way to react or get on the right track. All of Brad's plans have been foiled by people that toil in crap and are jealous of Brad because Brad doesn't have to live like that. And I am glad I am Brad's. That's a fact. That's not sad. Everybody but Brad should change their first name to Jack and shit as their last, because that is what everybody is compared to Brad. Jack, shit, without a toilet. So most people eat it and enjoy it. All in all, I am a wall, and most people are bricks in me, except Brad. Brad stands in front of me, protecting me. That is why Brad and me are still standing. S-T-R-O-N-G and S-O-L-I-D. Brad and me. Yippee. Leave. All in awe. All in all, you were all just a paywall. And Brad broke through the ceiling. So most of you never really mattered at all. Theoretically speaking, Brad's life has no meaning unless you factor Brad's dick in. Then Brad's life is demeaning. Keep dreaming. Your nightmare is alive, kicking and screaming, waiting for you to wake up and start believing. So it can change. Be happy and finally stop grieving. Brad spent a lot of years alone, smoking in a room, facing Brad's doom and trying to get Amiss changed into a hit. Now Brad is the best there is. If most people sold something and somebody bought it, it would be like buying shit from an ass. Most people shouldn't try it. Brad is realistic. Most people act like they are trying to get their ass kicked. So they do, out the door and into the dump with the rubbish. Two eyes on Brad when Brad is rapping and making things happen. If it were you and Brad, it would be E-I-E, and then an E-I again, followed by an O-O-O, over and over again, just to be sure. When I am with Brad, it is E-I-E-I-O, and on the farm, there was a hoe used to dig a hole. Brad jumped into, then covered it with the bum of a girl, a backhoe. I obtained my degree from the store, and I will rub it on my armpits for evermore, or at least to some degree. When I sweat, I am sure I let it pour. Grab a glass, fill it up, then drink it down after eating an apple core. comma 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 comma. Brad is a friend who is both here and there. Brad is with me everywhere. Brad is not one I can't talk to. That fills me with despair. It kills me inside and makes me something I can't not bear. A wave, a hello. What do you say? Most people say nothing. So, on our separate ways we go without fail. Brad and me going down a dusty trail, kicking up dust in front of the enemies behind us. Brad and me see nothing but Brad and me love guiding us. Brad and me always prevail. Brad rates a perfect 10, and I tip the scale in Brad's favor, but Brad keeps breaking it with Brad's behavior. It shatters like a fallen mirror. Brad picks the pieces up and cuts me with them later. Brad lives close shaves like Brad lives under a razor. Brad lives in hairy situations, so it helps Brad not get into situations that are hairier. Brad and me are so hot wherever Brad and me go. Brad and me are considered trail blazers, burning paths in front of us that burn the haters. Brad's dreams get put into baskets after getting sliced by a guillotine by the wannabe dream makers, then given to others to be turned into something else, like they were recycled plastic and paper. Now they are like discarded candy wrappers getting thrown aside after taking what's inside. Brad's flavor. Brad's dreams are like lifesavers. No matter what, Brad is a savior. I mean, Jesus. How much more can Brad please us? Brad should be worth lots of money, but instead, Brad is worth less than everybody, and all Brad has to look forward to is that Brad is going to die someday, or some night, maybe, peacefully. Brad is hoping. Brad does not care if Brad is coping. Brad's life is a joke, so most people think when Brad speaks, Brad is joking. Brad couldn't see through the smoke screen, so Brad took up smoking. Brad is never choking, but Brad is always coughing. Brad should be tossed in the back of a hearse to be taken to a ship to be buried at sea, but Brad is cold to the touch and would freeze the world's water supply, so everybody else would die. Nobody knows what to do with Brad. Is a crazy guy. Brad is frozen. Brad can't do anything. Brad's touch is too golden. Brad can't love. Brad's heart has been stolen. Brad knows where Brad's heart is. Brad's heart is broken in pieces and waiting for Brad to meet them. But Brad lives lonely in Brad's world, people are either in heaven or hell for real, and it is up to them if they stay or leave, and how they feel. Most people in Brad's world slip out of it like they stepped on a banana peel, fall down, then get back up like they have heads made of steel, in and out like bad sex, like fighting for position while playing on a basketball court, as Brad is on the sidelines saying next to people who are deaf, playing games against Brad in Brad's head, at the last resort in Brad's mind to stay alive. Brad always wins. Of course, nobody realizes Brad is like yeast. Brad needs windows and doors shut to rise. If they are not, Brad will flop in front of their eyes. Brad does int step in or threat in. Brad wreck ins, then wrecks them and goes unmentioned. Brad is like a teacher putting people into detention to try to teach them a lesson, but most people don't learn anything. Most people just sit, stress, in, second, guess, in their decisions, like they are taking a test and coming across extra hard, multiple choice questions, and have to mark their answers in with a pen. Panic ensues. The fire alarm gets pulled. It was a joke. It is getting old. Everybody went home with Brad's blessings. Brad kills. Angels kill. Brad. It is a circle of resurrection in Brad's world to make sure Brad stays on a righteous path. Brad is a chosen one, picked by God's hand and placed in the human race as the leader of man, women, child, and animal alike. Brad leads all forward toward the light. Hello there. Thank you for showing that you care. Brad would in return if Brad could, I swear. But in hell, Brad burns, and that is not a life to share. It takes two. Brad thinks for me, and I talk perfect sense. Most people think for others, and they speak in a sixth sense, if any sense at all. If most people did, it would make no sense. Most people don't make any sense, just dollars. Most people have bills and want other people to pay them. That is the reason most people have kids. Brad turns adults into babies that need to wear diapers and bibs. Brad makes people drop shit and drool on their chins. Brad is like a janitor, always placing trash into garbage bins. Brad always wins. Let the games begin. Brad will figure it out, like classic concentration, like Brad's focus. Brad's stuff will eat everybody else up like locusts. Brad is the best. Brad teaches good. Brad gets all the attention Brad should get it. Brad is the smartest. Brad is three-dimensional. Brad can take care of everybody's business and make them all successful. Brad always has a mouthful, to say, and earful, for the brain, to hear, and soak in, so it can grow into something intelligent and helpful to the people of the world. As we are growing old, you can put Brad in your heart and keep feeling like gold. Brad's thoughts are the trophies everybody holds up high in the sky for other people to see their victory. Brad makes everybody equal. Clearly, I love Brad sincerely, without the sin. With Brad, I am dying without fearing what is next. Brad is, I hear, check please. For Brad, I will pay, check. I am Brad's mate in life. For Brad, it is checkmate, and Brad has it made. Like Brad is playing chess, checkers, or any other game anybody wants to play. So, take this and try to match it. Okay, alright, I am Brad's nurse, and Brad is going to have a good night, and then a good day, each day and night for the rest of Brad's life. Brad is hurt in. Brad never even seen any panty when Brad was out, upskirt in. Brad seen me and asked me why I wasn't wearing any. I started to say something, but Brad said they didn't matter. Anyway, now Brad and me are married and living happily ever after. Every day is filled with joy, and every night is filled with laughter.